Hi, I'm Maryanne Redpath. I'm head of Berlinale Generation. And it's my great pleasure today to speak to a young director from Argentina. His name is Mariano Biasin, and he has directed the wonderful film Sublime, which is going to be screened in Generation 14+. Hi, Mariano. It's really nice to see you.
Hello, Marianne.
Yeah, it's really great. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for agreeing to let us screen your wonderful film Sublime in Generation 14+ this year. And I'm looking forward to talking to you about that a little bit more. But before we do go into it, I want to mention in this interview, you are no stranger to Generation. Some years ago, we screened your film, Fabrizio's Initiation, short film, and it won the Crystal Bear in Generation K+. And so I congratulate you once more for that. And I understand, and I think because I've seen both of these films and they are dear to my heart, the Sublime is based on the short film. Somehow there are some similarities, things I recognize.
They have connections.
Yeah, and so maybe you can just tell us a little bit about what happened between the short film and the long film, like the journey that you made to get us up to point of talking about Sublime.
The short film was an amazing experience because of Berlinale. For me, I wasn't prepared to what came out after Berlinale, the chance to show it everywhere, and it was amazing. And it gave me a lot of self-confidence to believe in myself to prepare for a feature film. Yeah. Then I started writing different projects, different storylines, until this idea came out. And I worked a lot. I was prepared to shoot in 2020. Then the pandemic came and everything was delayed, but it happened. We made it possible.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, we're really glad you made it possible. It hasn't been an easy road. I mean, it's quite a few years now down the line. It must have been a big struggle. But here we are. And to begin to talk about Sublime, I thought we would start with a clip that you sent to us. It's like over 2.5 minutes long, and it's like the music clip to the film. And I think it's a really wonderful way to kick off, and we'll watch it together now.
Great.
Del océano, lo sabía, pero me quedé. La quiero ver de cerca. Soy el mar contra las piedras. Soy el barco que sigue ahí en la tormenta. Soy el que prefiere estar cerca.
Viene mi prima. ¿La que te quiere comer? No, esa es tu vieja.
¿Viene a vivir?
Parece que sí.
Acá. Qué suicidio.
Desde un verano
wonderful video clip. There's a lot in there, and while I'm watching it, I'm thinking about that it's like a prescription for a generation film. We've got coming of age, we've got growing up, we've got next steps, we've got friendships, love, changes, listening to the inner voice, many other things. The fear of making the wrong decision, you feel it all through the clip as well and all the way through the film. Can you please talk about those aspects of the film, why you decided to really work so hard with these aspects and with these elements, and also your choices, how you chose to show them?
Okay, to connect it with what we were talking about before, I started with something related to the short film, because the short film for me was it proved myself that what I was capable of in terms of creating the texture and how to explore that kind of age and moment in life. So when I had different storylines for my first feature film, the producer Juan Pablo told me, why don't you make the long version of Fabrizio? And I thought that the short film was for me like a package that was closed, and I didn't want to explore again the same story. So I thought about how to put new elements on this same genre, coming of age, and this tone that I like to work with, which includes some humor and also some tenderness. Music came out because music is very important for me. I found it interesting to put this rock band in the story, and a rock band who dedicates to create music, to create songs. So the kids are composing songs during the story. So they put some of their discoveries or their struggles into music. Yeah. That was a nice challenge for me, and a nice place to explore new things. I always try to create a story that can have these typical narrative moments, because I wanted to have the craft of a story that anyone can recognize and can identify themselves with the story, but to have some particularities from the way I see things. So the kids, in this case, the actors, were not acting like typical today teenagers. It's not a documentary of a rock band or nothing like that. It's just I've been trying to find the balance point between what looks real for a teenage of today, and what was better for this story in terms of cinematography. Mm-hmm. So those were, music, and looking for that balance was my biggest challenge, I think. Mm-hmm. And the compass that I had all the time was to try to satisfy my own spectator when I was that age. I wanted to shoot the film that I would have liked to see when I was that age. So when I had this chicken skin, it's because it was working.
It's lovely to hear you say that, because when I watch the film, and not having heard you say that before, I feel like you really, really like your characters and your figures in the film who weave way through the story, and you really love them, and the camera really loves them. It's like the camera's embracing them all the time, embedding them in a sense of security in order for them to find the words or the ways or the actions to express what's going on and all the turmoil of growing up. So it means a lot to hear you say that. It means it's also about your relationship to yourself, going gently. And so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It certainly comes through. Yes, and you talked about the music. I think I read somewhere you use the music as a compass or a guide to express what the young people are unable to express, and because they're just learning, they're just navigating. So this, I think it is a really nice motif all the way through the film, and I'm glad you put that into the clip as well. It's very special while watching it, and you know, I want to start dancing when I watch the film. It's lovely to see in the clip how they're starting off tentatively because they have tentative feelings, and that goes on into being a more powerful expression of how they are when the music piece becomes more set and more solid and in expression. So yeah, really wonderful. And yeah, I did have another, right, probably my last question to you, because time goes really fast in these things, is we talked a little bit about your process and your development. Did the film turn out how you intended to, or did it develop into something that you might have been surprised by?
It's a wonderful question, and I believe I'm a very person who resides in my mind all the time, planning things, and I have been working a lot on planning this film, in the writing process, in the pre-production process, in the choices of who may be the actors or the locations, or why the ocean is the landscape for this film. All those questions come from my mind and trying to make the craft of the story. But at some point, something started to happen that it moved slowly to my heart, and many choices came out easily, and some changes happened in the way. Not big structural changes, because I had like the craft. I had the time with the pandemic to work on the script a lot, but in small pieces, I had the chance to listen to commentaries, to listen to ideas from people who were working with me, who were very valuable. They were very important for the process, the actors, the crew. And I was like receiving all that and exploring that and playing with them, and great things happen without planning. So for me, it was a two-sided version of myself. A lot of mind put on the task in the beginning, and in the second part was more emotional. So the answer is yes. I've been surprised with the result, and especially as this conversation is about coming from short film to feature film, and I believe that maybe the people who are listening to this are in the process too. For me, the most challenging step from short film to feature film was the editing room, because all that material came together, and making small changes in a feature film, it takes a lot, and it moves a lot of energy in every way, to all the directions, and it's really hard to conceive what are you doing when you are editing a feature film. In a short film, it's like swimming in a swimming pool. You can know that the bottom is somewhere below, and the borders are there. But editing a feature film, for me, my experience was like jumping from the swimming pool to the ocean, with new conditions, and every little change, or if I remove that, what happens? And if I add this scene, or I change the position of this scene, it's like everything changes, and it's a new story. So I was surprised by the process, by the emotions, by the editing room. I was surprised.
What a fantastic process. What an amazing process. You've got the subjective, the objective, you've got jumping into the ocean and swimming, learning to swim again. I think it's a great metaphor. Exactly. And yeah, I think it's very useful for people who are maybe in the same position as you are in to hear your words, because feature film cutting, editing a feature film, there's so much more time and space, isn't there? And the beats are different, and the exploration of that space is completely different. And I congratulate you on the product, which we're going to see very soon here in Berlin, in cinemas around Berlin, and we hope that you will be able to join us physically to celebrate the premiere of your film. time's up. I'm sorry. I would love to speak
Perfect.
with you for hours and hours, but the time is really up. And thanks for this small talk and going into depth, jumping into the ocean with me together. And we'll see each other very soon in February.
Soon.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you very much.